Hello madam, my name is Rakesh. I'm an Ayurvedic practitioner here from many generations to follow. And today I'm talking to Vandana Shivaji, a protester against GMO and other formulas. I have a few simple questions about it. The movement that you're doing, I think what I'm looking into it is very good for the next generation. But sometimes when I look into any movement, the young generations or younger children, they are not fit into it because the parents think they shouldn't know about this. Let them feed whatever they want to eat. So what's your message about to reach out to this crowd that is coming as the next generation? They should know about this very much.
So, our generation ate well because we grew up in a pesticide-free, GMO-free world. And that's why we are so much more healthy than the generations that have come now. Young people should know about GMOs. Young people have a right to know how the food is being produced. The young people have a right to choose whether they want pesticides and GMOs or not. And that's why it's so important that there are young activists like Rachel who are leading the march against GMOs. It's so important that in India we have created a movement called Gardens of Hope for young people, because the only learning that will last you is how to work with the earth and produce your own food. Young people want to know more. The sad thing is the corporations have got into the schools and would like the schools to only know what biotechnology is, not know about earthworms, not know about mycorrhizae, not know about open pollinated plants, not know about cooking, not know about Ayurveda, not know about health. And so basically they're creating a cocoon. And what children need to be exposed to is learning from the earth, learning from nature, learning from their own bodies, knowing through their bodies what is good food and bad food. Our bodies, if they're allowed to speak, can tell us.
Actually, right now, because since many generations we are working on Ayurvedic medicine, my father, who came to Canada in 1988, he's known as a pioneer of Ayurveda in Canada. He was nominated for several awards and everything within Canada. But when I look back to the India as a biggest source of the natural herbs, actual world market of Ayurvedic medicine is $70 billion as per the Indian government has forecast. But India could only reach 5% of that out of the totality of $70 billion. I went back to the both government because I'm Canadian now as a Canadian citizen and goes to the Indian government and explain to them. But as you just mentioned earlier about all the questions you've been asking, you answer. There's so many issues. What I think is we are not giving a fair area for farmers to grow, and then good formulations are stopped coming to the other country based on the this has lead, this has high poison, this and that. So good things are being stopped, but bad things are always been like
promoted.
And even when I have 3 children, I try my level best to educate them about good food and everything. But when they go back to the schools and everywhere, they have wrong information. And that's where I have a little hard time. And then wherever it's possible, when it comes to the Ayurveda, it's been 11,000 years we practicing, and still every time it's been stopped. It's been stopped based on the scientific values and these values and that values. Like, my personal understanding is that we should give some farmers also a privilege to grow herbs and everything and then market it so they can also have more revenue generations. Are you doing something based on?
Well, we encourage all our members, especially the women, to have herbal and kitchen gardens in their backyard so that the prominent 12 diseases they can cure with their own herbs.
Home remedies.
Home remedies, but in India there wasn't a division between food and medicine. Ayurveda is both a philosophy of life as food as well as a philosophy of healing. And we need to bring that philosophy of Ayurveda internationally. The second is these very, very unjust systems by which corporations are imposing GMOs and unreliable medicine, and mention was made by Shiv about the case. against the Gates Foundation for irresponsible clinical trials on vaccines, where hundreds of women have died. They want that pushed through without testing. But they want to block Ayurveda because they know if this spreads, this is what people will adopt as a solution. So all these, the plants don't have lead, only some of the medicines have. And actually, when it's well made, even if you use lead, the lead isn't in the residue. So it is just rumors, but the same thing is being done to seed. Seed saving is being criminalized. The notices in the US are, if you save your own seed, you are engaging in agri-terrorism. So the good is being criminalized, the bad is being spread, and that is why we have to all rise with the best of our knowledge, best of our traditions, and Ayurveda is one of the most important traditions of the world.
I have one last question. Right now, India and Canada is working on a free trade agreement, and Ayurveda is also part of that. But when I look at it, the valuations, how process is going on, I see that lots of areas is not very well communicated.
Yeah. I think it's very important for the Ayurvedic community in India and here to remind those who put standardization based on reductionist chemistry to say Ayurveda works through relationships. Ayurveda works according to a particular body. It is not reductionist chemistry where you can measure this and measure this and measure this. And they just need to be educated on the new holistic biology that's emerging and was the foundation of Ayurveda.
And I'd just like lastly say one thing, that I have been invited by the parliament here several times to design treatment plan. So I think what my understanding, as you said, education and right communication and right message and right time.
Yes.
It has to be done properly, and you are doing very well job. I'd like to thank you for this.
Thank you.
And if you need any help from my side, we are always there.
Sure, you must build this, contribute to this India-Canadian People's Council that you have.